Hey there, it's Ryan with I'mMinnesotaNice.com. Today, day 42 of 365. It's kind of a special day. It is September 11th today, and I just wanted to go through kind of what that day means to me and how I'm Minnesota Nice is connected to it, really. I remember the day really well, like most people do, as long as you are of a particular age, maybe 10 and older or something like that. I think most people remember where they were. I was sitting at home getting ready for work. I owned a restaurant in Crossroads Mall at that time, and one of my friends called and said, "Hey, somebody just flew a plane into the World Trade Center, and you need to check it out. They're not sure what's going on." So I flipped on the TV, and a couple of things ran through my mind right away, like, "Oh my God, this is a horrible accident." And the next thing was my sister. My sister was living in Brooklyn and working in Manhattan Island at the time, and I wasn't sure exactly where she was working. Compared to the trade center of the attacks there. So I was pretty concerned for her and tried to get a hold of her right away after that. And then I went to work, and it was a short time later. We all kind of listened to the radios and watched TVs, and the people at the mall said, "You got to go home. We're shutting down the mall. Everything's going to be closed down." So I went back home and found out that my sister was okay. They had shut down all of the subways. They couldn't do any transit. All of that stuff was shut down in New York. But she was safe and she was at work, and that was really important to me. That was in 2001, and then 2003 I finally had the opportunity to visit my sister, and that's where kind of the I'm Minnesota Nice came from. That in 2003 I was visiting her. We were at Ground Zero, and looking down at this big hole and looking at all of the scars and the adjacent buildings, and just being in that place and that moment, I really felt a sense of wanting to be back home. I wanted to be in Minnesota really badly. I really like New York, and I think it's a great place, but it's not really my home. It's not where I felt compelled. And I just felt this need to be back home. During that trip, I saw the I Heart New York logo and all of that sort of stuff, and I really thought that we needed something that kind of symbolizes who we are as Minnesotans, and who we are as people. Now, I'm Minnesota Nice just kind of came to me that day. My sister was working for Milton Glaser, and he's the graphic artist that designed the I Heart New York logo, and I was sitting in his office, and all of this kind of came about from that day, more or less. So 2001, 9/11 is a day that I'll never forget, and it 10 years later, it's put me to where I am now. It's a milestone in life, and you can see, my kids were 1 and 2 at the time. Now they're 11 and 12, almost 13. It's really one of those things that makes you stop and look where you were. It's a marker in time. For the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to NPR and listening to some of the stories, both positive and more towards the negative, with the post-traumatic stress and things like that, which is seems like it's a big problem with some people. It's amazing to hear the stories of triumph and the people that got through it, and then it's so sad to hear the stories of people that just can't get it back together. They can't get it out of their lives, and it's really amazing how much all of that affected. Now, I can only imagine it affected me in my way. I have no way of knowing how that could have affected them. But I know that my heart goes out to everybody that was affected, in those hours and in those days, following. I can't imagine. I can't imagine it. So today is a very special, Minnesota 365 kind of connects the two projects, really. Out of tragedy comes the best things at times, and you got to look for the silver linings and keep it on. You need to do what you can. So I think that's it. On that note, my prayers go out to everybody. I'm so glad that I have such a great fan base and people that are watching my videos. It's really important to me that I do help people, and that's kind of what I want to do. Just help people. more than anything. So I'm Ryan with I'mMinnesotanice.com, sharing the best of Minnesota.